half the year. According to tradition, you should have stayed indoors to avoid evil spirits and unfortunate accidents. Going outside is what Ireland was doing over the bank holiday weekend though. And it could be just as well, as recent media coverage has suggested increasing your vitamin D levels might be exactly what we all need to do, and the sunshine is one method.
People with low levels of vitamin D may be more likely to die from coronavirus.
So tell us about the research that shows why vitamin D levels may be linked to a person's risk of COVID-19.
Could it really be true? Is vitamin D one of the keys to easing the effects of the pandemic?
Two recent studies from Northwestern University and Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland. That research linked lower levels of vitamin D to higher COVID-19 death rates.
Dr. Eamon Laird is one of the authors of a Trinity College study that looked at vitamin D levels and mortality from COVID-19.
Well, vitamin D is very important for the body. We know that it's a pro-hormone, so we make it from sunlight and we can actually get it from our diet. However, we know that it's essential for bone health and for skeletal health. And other researchers have shown that it's also essential, perhaps associated with extraskeletal health, that is immune function, cardiovascular health, cancer, diabetes.
His study found that the countries with high rates of vitamin D deficiency experienced the highest death rates from COVID-19.
Those countries with higher vitamin D levels, either through fortification, mandatory fortification, supplements, or higher dietary intakes, actually had lower levels of COVID mortality and COVID infection rates. For instance, Spain, Italy, they had the highest mortality rates, but also the lowest vitamin D, surprisingly. Even though they're very sunny countries, they don't have any fortification, and we think that perhaps those people who are in nursing homes, who are institutionalized, older adults, they don't actually get out into the sunlight, and they don't actually get it from their diet. Whereas if you look at Norway, Finland, they actually have the lowest rates of COVID mortality, but also the highest rates of actually vitamin D deficiency. That is, they have higher intakes of supplements, higher intakes of vitamin D rich foods, and Finland has a mandatory vitamin D fortification policy.
We need UVB to make vitamin D. Even though Ireland is a small country, the amount of UVB we are exposed to varies as you move from north to south. When comparing the most northerly point, Malin Head, with the most southerly point, Mizen Head, the difference in total yearly UVB was almost 20% higher at Mizen Head. However, in Ireland, we only receive enough UVB from March to September to make vitamin D, so no matter where you live in Ireland, you're not getting enough through sunlight alone. Studies by TILDA, the Irish Longitudinal Study on Ageing, have identified variations in vitamin D deficiency levels within Ireland.
We found that those living in the northwest, i.e. Donegal, Ulster, and those living in Cork in the southwest actually had lower vitamin D levels than those living in Leinster, the southeast, Dublin. And even within Dublin, there is disparity in the vitamin D status across the city. For example, those living in Dublin 8 have a much lower vitamin D status than those living in other areas of the city. This could be due to socioeconomic status or perhaps an increase in the population of ethnic minority population. Those with darker skin actually take longer to make vitamin D.
The power of the sun is often referenced when we talk about where we get our vitamin D, but of course, it's not the only source. Professor Mairead Kiley has been studying vitamin D for over 20 years in Cork. She is one of the authors of a paper in the British Medical Journal about vitamin D and COVID-19.
In all the studies that we've done in Ireland in relation to diet and vitamin D, the intakes are between 1 and about 16 to 18 micrograms per day. And the people who have up around the 16 micrograms per day are, reasonable consumers of fortified milk, for instance. They're regular fish and particularly salmon and fatty fish consumers. They eat eggs and meat and a really varied diet. That's how you get vitamin D currently from food, and in relation to fortified food in Ireland, that's how you're building up your vitamin D from food. But unfortunately, there isn't a national policy in relation to food fortification for vitamin D, which would be the safest and most reliable way for people to get more vitamin D in their diet. It's not generally sprinkled throughout the food supply in the levels that it should be. So generally for people to get 10 micrograms per day, they're going to need to take a supplement.
So do Irish people take vitamin D supplements? We took to the streets of Cork to find out.
I take calcium and vitamin D.
No, I never took any supplement.
Do you take vitamin D supplements?
I actually have some in my bag I bought a while ago. So like I take vitamin D and vitamin C at the moment, you know, because it's good for the immune system and you need it. Especially these days when, you know, you can get a cough or cold, it could spiral into something else.
Have you heard anything about the correlation between vitamin D deficiency and COVID-19?
Yeah, I have heard of it.
What have you heard, or what's your
I've
understanding?
heard that it's one of the ones that they advise you to take to fight COVID-19.
Okay.
Just to build up your immune system.
What have you heard about it?
Just that it helps people that's against it. And if you get it, it wouldn't be as bad as it would be.
There's no sunlight. That is enough for your skin to make vitamin D. So just take 10 micrograms every day.
One of the Irish manufacturers of vitamin D products says the vitamin is important to optimise your immunity.
One of the classical symptoms of vitamin D deficiency is you pick up every bug that's gone because your immunity is not at optimum level. So supplementation, it doesn't prevent you getting COVID, but it just allows your body better resources to fight the infection.
Supplement manufacturers have noticed a dramatic spike in demand at home and abroad during this pandemic.
We normally would have stocks of about 6-7 months of all these products. They were sold out within 10 days.
In a statement issued to Primetime, the Department of Health said, with regard to COVID-19, the HSE advises that those who are self-isolating or who are unable to go outside should consider taking a daily supplement containing 10 micrograms vitamin D to ensure a healthy vitamin D status. It added, Ireland is not considering introducing a vitamin D food fortification policy. Sales of vitamin D supplements may be on the up, but the academics who spend their lives studying the area have a word of caution.
We're not saying vitamin D is a magic cure. You're not going to take vitamin D and you're going to be prevented from getting COVID. It's just one bit of a tiny jigsaw puzzle. It's physical activity, it's healthy diet, it's maintaining a good social distance, infection control measures. All of this together, you know, supports the immune system. Vitamin D is no magic bullet.
The magic bullet is really about drugs. And we don't have a drug for COVID, and we mightn't ever have a magic bullet drug for treating COVID. A lot of, you know, it's all about combination therapies at the moment. Diet and nutrition is never about a magic bullet. The overall diet is the important factor. And there are certain nutrients that we need to take in supplements, you know, folic acid for pregnancy, B12 for vegans, and vitamin D for Ireland, because we're away up in the north of Europe and we have a very long winter.
Professor Mairead Kiley ended that report by Conor McNaught.